Hello and welcome to another Pauper video. I'm kalikaiz and we're going to be discussing the Pauper Magic Online League metagame. This is the 5-0 trophies from all of the Magic Online leagues. You might have noticed I did not post one of these videos last week. That's because on Monday of last week we had a ban of all that glitters, as well as the secondary delegalization of sticker and attraction cards, meaning that one of my favorite cards, Name Sticker Goblin, is no longer viable. Unfortunate. But getting rid of all that glitters is awesome, and we're seeing the resurgence of Pauper, I guess, and a more mid-range control metagame that we'll get into. Before we get into it, make sure to check out cardmarket.com, the largest seller of Magic the Gathering cards in Europe, and you can check them out to get your own battle box and pick up the cards to play in your LGS. Make sure to like and subscribe. I really appreciate that. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought about the metagame. Is Pauper more fun in your LGS now that all the glitters is banned, or are you sad? Just hit me up in the comments and let me know. Love to hear from everybody. And if you want to find sideboard guides, make sure to check out my Patreon, which is patreon.com/kalikaiz. And all these things are linked in the description below, mostly at my link tree, as well as a couple individual links. So let's go ahead and get into the Magic Online metagame, all post-ban. So I started on Tuesday of last week, the 14th, and I went through Monday the 20th. And it looks like Kogate is the deck to beat. We've got 17% Kogate. In my opinion, that makes sense because it's a pretty good deck against mono red, and it was being held in check by glitters. It was not very good against glitters, so Kogate coming up makes it's not really a surprise to me. Golgari Gardens in second place at 12% and mono red at 11%. Overall, I think that makes sense. Then a very sharp drop off to Jeskai Ephemerate and Blue X Fae at 5.8%, and then kind of falls off from there. Did want to note that Walls had 7 trophies, which was really impressive, tied with Mono Blue Terror. And we saw 6 trophies from Grixis Affinity, which, we got a trophy right away on day 1 from Bokuinha, who usually plays elves. And in my opinion, Affinity is now sort of unsoft banned. Like, people were playing the All That Glitters version of Affinity and forgetting that Grixis Affinity is just a ridiculously strong deck. I would not count this out, and I would still pack your Dust to Dust for sure. So let's go ahead and get into day 1. On day 1, top dog was Golgari Gardens, one of them splashing red for Jund, for Pyroblast. So they were the Jund Golgari Gardens. And then we had 5 Jeskai Ephemerates, which is really impressive. 4 Kogates, 2 mono red, 2 Grixis Affinity, 2 Izzet Terror, a mono red Blitz. I do want to point that one out. Blue white Familiars and a Dimir Control. So the Grixis Affinity. Leave me a comment and let me know if this is large enough for you guys to tell what's going on here. But they're playing 12 creatures, 4 Enforcer, 1 Gear Seeker, 2 Somber Harbor Guard, and 3 Frogmite. Not entirely sure how they came up with that split of creatures. 2 Croakland Shamans make sense for red, and they're on 4 Dispute, 4 Bargain, 3 Thoughtcast with 2 Metallic Rebuke in the main deck. They also have some Candy Trails and Chromatic Stars to help for smoothing. And then Blue Blast. A Singleton Tithing Blade in the sideboard does not make that much sense to me, but I guess it be good versus like Bogles or something if you can get it out at the right moment. And then they're playing Gorilla Shaman for the mirror, I guess. And then 1 Breath Weapon to deal with red. We have a Jeskai Ephemerate from Denishev Alexei, who actually double trophied on that day. And this kind of deck is oddly clunky and also really good, where it has the Cleansing Wildfire package for ramp, and then they're playing counter spells. Lose Focus as a 5th counterspell, 2 Breath Weapons in the main deck to clear up the board, and then they're going to win through Kenkus or Murmuring Mystics or Muldrifter Beats. Only 2 Ephemerates, interesting. 2 Preordain, 3 Brainstorm. I'm not sure how you come up with that kind of a split. And then this crazy Kiln Fiend deck. This is a deck created by Jordanescu from Poland, and for some reason Ivern OP decided to jump on it. And they actually made 3 trophies in 2 days, 1 on the 14th and 2 on the 15th. The way this deck works is I guess he's not playing Rite of Flame here or Simian Spirit Guide. Oh, there it is. Here's Simian Spirit Guide. So you can turn 1 a Soul Eater or a Kiln Fiend and then just go for the turn 2 TBR, you're dead, which gives them double strike and trample if it's ferocious. Really kind of wild. On day 2, the most played deck was Colgate at 3, Blue X Fae for 3 trophies, 2 for Gardens and Mono Red, as well as Mono Blue Terror and Mono Red Blitz. Both of those Blitz were from Ivern OP. Then we have 1-ofs for Jeskai Ephemerate, Walls, Affinity, Rakdos Madness Burn, Is It Terror, Mardu Synthesizer, Dredge, Tireless Tribe, and Cycle Storm. So here's the Dredge. They've decided not to play the Rebel Belt Maverick. They're still on 4 Conduit Pylons and 15 lands, which in my opinion is a bit too much. Then we have multiple Dimir Fairies from Byko. And then we have Cycle Storm by Nano MTG, which this is exactly the list from Bryant Cook, who just recently posted a video of this list. And you can check that out at his channel, which is The Epic Storm on YouTube. But essentially, you're going to be cycling through your deck, cycling all these creatures, making a punch of mana with Songs of the Damned, then casting Reaping the Graves to get them all back, to cycle some more to draw your deck, to make a bunch of mana with Songs of the Damned, and then kill them with Dranith Stinger, which is super fun. And I have a couple of videos of this on my channel if you want to check those out. But the main thing here is that post-board is swapping into a Basics plan instead of the Baron Moors and Faithless Looting. So that's in order to increase the speed of the deck. This Tireless Tribe by Season of Mists, who's been continuously on this deck, doing quite well. It works on playing Tireless Tribe. You discard all your cards, and you can use Whiteout to sacrifice your land to return Whiteout to your hand, and then discard it again. And then you flip your creature with Inside Out and attack them for lethal in 1 turn. It's a sweet combo deck for sure. We have Mono Blue Delver by Rick Armatana, who has his own YouTube channel, Stompy MTG, and he's playing a very tempo-oriented version of Delver of Mono Blue Terror with 4 Boomerang, 3 Force Spike, 2 Spell Pierce. Pretty crazy. Well, not crazy, but really tight list and really punishing is what I wanted to say. On day 3, we had 6 Colgate trophies, pretty wild. And then we have 2 of Golgari Gardens, 2 Mono Blue Terror, and all the rest are 1-ofs for Mono Red, Jeskai FM, Walls, Dimir Terror, a Blitz deck again from a different pilot. Same deck though. Rakdos Madness, an actual factual Flickertron, another Mardu Metalcraft, this time a different type of list, an Elves, and a Mono Blue Fae. So the Walls by Apis72, this is a combo version of Walls, playing some Generous Sense as well for beaters. The Mardu Synthesizer from Barf, he's playing Cleansing Wildfire. The reason you're kind of splashing a bunch is via Cleansing Wildfire, and you have Deadly Dispute as well. Splashing so you can play the Tithing Blade package for Glenhawk or Skyfisher on Tithing Blade. So it's kind of like the Orzhov Blade deck, but it has actual removal and Krark-Clan Shaman in the main deck. As well as, there's a Terminate over here in the sideboard. The Ephemeratron from Bombage was more of the stock slow rolling Ephemeratron with 4 Expedition Map, 4 Energy Refractor as the colored sources. Then you have Runaway Boulder as your tutorable flash removal spell, which is kind of sweet. And you can flicker that to continuously deal 6 damage to stuff. And then Dinrovahor is the main way to kill your opponent, basically, with Captivating Cave as a loop effect. So this is cool because you can sacrifice it to put 2+1/+1 counters on a creature, and then you just flicker back your Pulse of Marasa, pulse back the Captivating Cave, and then eventually you're going to be attacking with a bigger and bigger Muldrifter every turn. So that gives you a built-in win condition, essentially. Also has Rolling Thunder in the sideboard as a way to just dome your Gardens opponent or mid-range opponents. And then Teamer for Life, who has been on the Pro Tour. They are playing a Initiative Elves. So 4 Avenging Hunter, 2 Goliath Paladin, just slamming in. They posted this on Twitter. They said they didn't expect Elves to do very well and we're happily getting a trophy on that league. Day 4, okay. The 17th, we have 4 Colgates, 3 Mono Red, so Mono Red coming back a bit. 3 Ponza, unfortunately for me. 2 Golgari Gardens, 2 Boros Synth, a Dredge, a Flickertron, Mono Blue Terror. So Boros Synth, This person is playing 8 Inspectors still, 4 Hawk, 4 Skyfisher, and then just, putting stuff on the table, getting in, and then burning out your opponent with Galvanic Blast, Lightning Bolt, and 2 Foundry Helix. That makes a lot of sense to me. I think Seeker of the Way is a powerful card and can really go over the top of people. We have Kirkland Shaman and Relic in the sideboard, Cast into Fire, Circle of Protection for Terror, I guess, and 4 Clerics for stuff like Ogles and even Graveyard type decks. Poor me. 3 Ponza trophies, that's not what you love to see, but this is pretty stock looking Ponza. You just ramp, play a Cascade creature, hopefully flip an Avenging Hunter, and just murder them with the Thermokarst Monvuli Acid Moss to just destroy their lands. Ugh, makes you feel bad. On the 18th, we have 4 Walls trophies. That is an absurd day for Walls. But the top deck was Golgari Gardens. And then we have 2 Coggates, 2 Dimir Terror, and one of them was really more a Dimir Delver, Rakdos Madness, and a Flickertron. So Walls Cascade by Apis, who actually played and made 2 trophies. So this is a hybrid Walls, so he's playing the Cascade Walls in the main deck. You can ramp into your Althasor, Generous End, Boarding Party, Avenging Hunter, slam in, attack for lethal. But you have a sideboard juke into Secret Door, Drift of Phantasms, Free from the Real, Alchemist, and you can turn into a combo deck to race in race matches. The Dimir Delver from Bombage. This is Delver Secrets, Tolarian Terror, 4 Augur Bolts, and 2 Thorn of Black Rose. So I think they said that they pulled out like an old list and updated it with Terror. Pretty cool. And the more combo version of Walls down here with GN42 making a trophy with Ephemeratron. Let's see what he played. It looks like 2 Expedition Map, 2 Crop Rotations, so kind of hedging all around with 4 Refractor and 1 Network Terminal to get your colored sources online. And Rolling Thunder in the main deck makes sense to me. You can just dome people for lethal. This is more of the straight up combo version of Walls with a couple, it's just like a sideboard package that supports you post board in your combo plan. On the 19th, 5 trophies for Mono Red Burn, Kuldotha Burn, and then we have 2 for Dimir Terror, 2 for Elves, 2 for Coggate, 1 for Gardens, and then all the rest are 1s for Jeskai, Blue X Fae, Mono Blue Terror, Golgari Dredge, or just Dredge, Boros Synth, Herbofog, Bogles, and Poison Storm. Let's go! So, big boy from Pisa here. I actually just got trounced by them in a league with the 3 Flaring Pain in the sideboard. Now they don't have to make any weird concessions to trying to figure out how to put all the glitters in the deck. You just go 4 Mask, 4 Ethereal Armor. It makes a lot of sense. 4 Armadillo Cloak. This deck is good at just getting in and killing your opponent. We have a bunch of burns. We have Ivern OP. Earlier in the week, he was playing Kiln Fiend, and now he's on Turbo Fog. What a change! But they managed to 5-0 with that. Doesn't look like they're playing anything too out of the ordinary. We have a Dredge list from Illuminati, who I think this is a bit better. This is a 13 land list playing a Singleton Bajuka Bog. They still have 4 Exhume, 4 Gnaw of the Bone, 4 Dread Return, a little bit of Acorn Harvest. And they're on the plan of playing Circle of the Land Druid and then exhuming or using the Dread Return, sacrificing the Circle of the Land Druid to get back their land. I think I like that a lot better. They have Coffin Perch, Ancient Grudge, Flaring Pain, some Moments pieces, which is interesting, and Grave Revelation in the sideboard. So all flashback cards, which definitely works along with their plan. On the last day of the week, on Monday, so yesterday, we had 3 Coggates, 3 Blue X Fae, and 3 Affinity. Finally, we're seeing Affinity really rise. So here's a list from Luffy, who is basically Pauper's like premier Affinity player, I would say. And if you're ever looking for a list, this is the guy that everybody usually copies. I know Walker 735 is an awesome Affinity pilot as well, but his is more of like a mid-range control deck. And this one is playing 4 Frog, 4 Enforcer, 2 Kenku. Kenku can be sacrificed and brought back again by the Blood Fountain. Parkland Shaman is a board wipe that you can also get back with the Blood Fountain. He's not worried about playing any number of candy trails or anything, just focused on the Deadly Dispute package, Thoughtcast, and then 7 artifacts to sacrifice with the Chromatic Stars and Wellsprings. So I guess he's planning on sacrificing stuff like the Kenku and the Frogmite to get to the Reckoner's Bargain and things like that, with 4 Galvanic and a Singleton cast down in the main deck. And the sideboard looks pretty stock to me. This is another Ephemeratron, just Tyranning people. And then we had 2 blue-black fairies and 1 Izzet Fairies by Toggen. Izzet Fairies has been generally on the downtrend, not popping up that much, but this is really what fairies used to be, was the stock blue-red fairies. So I'm glad to see that actually popping up. They have a Murmuring Mystic in the main deck. They've got Ghostfire in the sideboard for Guardian of the Guild Pact. No Ghostfire main, they've got a Fire Ice. So if you love to Delver people, the blue-red Delver, blue-red Fae, this is maybe a list to copy and see how that goes. So can pull up all right. So here we have the full-on chart of what happened this week. We had mostly Cog Gates and Gardens, so a mid-range control strategies at the top of the metagame, with mono red and unseeded from the top in 3rd place. We have Jeskai Ephemerate and Blue X Fae, so blue stuff behind it. Combo, some blue, some affinity. I think affinity is probably going to go from 4.4% whoop all the way up, because that deck is really strong. So expect to see that, in my opinion, coming up. We also have Kerblinksy's challenge report for the last weekend. Here's the challenge report. The top deck was Coldwell Red, and then Golgari Gardens, Coggate after that. Mono Red did pretty well. Affinity did really well, but only 5 pilots though. Goblins did extremely well as well, and Poison Storm just crushed. I got a 62% win rate from Poison Storm, but I made a top 8, which was awesome if you want to see in my other videos. So that is the metagame so far. Let me know if you like this Tuesday to Tuesday, if you want me to switch it up. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.